In this video, I am going to be taking you through the 5 most common mistakes that I see UK business owners making when using Xero, and it ends up costing them thousands in tax. Just last week, I was sitting with one of my new clients. She's a brilliant business owner. She's been using Xero for a number of years, and in fact, she has a bookkeeper and an accountant, but she just felt that she needed a deeper understanding of how Xero worked so that she could confidently run reports in Xero and actually just sense check things to make sure nothing was being missed. Within a couple of weeks of signing up to the program and working through some of the videos, she sat down when it was time to review her VAT return, and she was able to pick up, just by checking a few key areas, that she was going to be overpaying £660 in VAT just in that quarter, just from doing a few simple checks that did not take long at all. Now, if you are using Xero Accounting Software, you might be making the exact same mistakes, and they could be costing you thousands across the year. So today, I'm going to walk you through, as I said, the 5 most common Xero mistakes that I see UK business owners make and why they matter. And if I get a chance for some of these, I will show you how to fix them, or I will point you to a video that I've recorded previously that runs through how to fix them. Hi, I'm Ray Armand, a chartered accountant, founder of Root to Growth Accounting and my new Xero Hero program, and I'm a mum of 4. I've spent the last 8 years helping UK businesses go from financial chaos to complete clarity with Xero. And if you've ever thought to yourself, I use Xero, I have an accountant who checks everything, so it must be right, you might want to stick around, because I am going to take you through some quick checks that you can do to see if maybe there might be some hidden issues in your Xero. Got a little post-it note here to make sure that I cover off all 5 areas. So let's begin with area number 1, which is cleaning up bills and invoices. Now, this is a very common one, and this is a check that you need to do on a regular basis. So what most people do who are bookkeeping in Xero, rightly so, is they capture their customer invoices, or it might be coming in from another piece of software. They capture their supplier bills, and then they reconcile their bank and they think they're done. But there are a whole lot of checks that you should be doing each month to make sure that your Xero is nice and neat, to make sure that you don't have old bills and invoices sitting in your Xero that shouldn't be there, that result in you overpaying tax. So what you need to make sure that you diarize and do every single month is go to your invoices menu and go to your bills screen and do a bit of a tidy up. So let me show you that very high level. So if you go business invoices, you want to navigate across here to awaiting payment, because generally the issues are going to be sitting in those old invoices and those old bills that are more than a couple of months old that you know will not be paid, either because it could be a bad debt, it could be because it's a duplicate, it could be because you need to amend the value, like you set an invoice for 1,000 and the customer only needed to pay 750, or something similar on the supplier side. Or it could be because you've created overpayments or prepayments and they're sitting there and they're now months or years old, and you're like, what do I do with these? Okay. Well, firstly, if you want to understand overpayments and prepayments a bit better, I will link below and at the end of this video my sort of short video training that I did on overpayments versus prepayments. So do have a look at that so that you have a deeper understanding of how those work and how you should be keeping them neat. So that's going to help you already if you watch that. But just know that what you need to be doing from your invoices screen and also from your bills screen here, which I'll let that load and then we can jump to it, is you should be sorting by date. And this is just a demo company, so there's very few transactions here. But what I typically see is a couple of 100 transactions that are sitting here and awaiting payment. And people will tell me that at least, 20 to 40% of those shouldn't be there. And they're like, oh, but I'm not sure how to get rid of them. So you need to make sure that you are looking at any old bills or invoices and cleaning them up. Okay, if it falls into a period where you haven't submitted a VAT or tax return, so you haven't yet passed your year-end date or your VAT date, you can just go in and void those documents. If it falls into a period where you've already submitted a VAT return or a set of accounts, then you need to raise a credit note and apply it against the invoice. Okay, but you must keep this neat, because otherwise, let's say there's a whole lot of old invoices here that are no longer relevant, you're going to overpay tax, because that's going to be income that actually shouldn't be there. So you do need to keep this clean. So that's number one. So do come here, check your bills and invoices, and keep that clean. Number two is forgetting to claim all allowable expenses. Many business owners focus on like the big wins, and they forget how all the little things can add up. So things like claiming mileage, home office costs, those small subscriptions that are maybe going through your personal account that you're not putting through the business. Over a year, that easily adds up to hundreds, if not thousands. And that's money left on the table, money that can go to a significant step towards reducing your tax bill. Okay? So it's those small expenses that catch people out. And what you need to do is, it's just the habit of staying on top of it. So as a tip for this video that I want to give you is using the Xero expenses feature to stay on top of your mileage. So if you go in Xero to the business menu here, and you go to expense claims. It used to be that you had to pay separately for this expense claims feature in Xero, but now with their Grow package, which used to be their standard, expenses is now included for one user, and for any additional users you pay a fee. It's usually about £250 a month. Okay, so it means if you as the business owner want to claim mileage and there's only one of you therefore on expenses, it's included in your package. So you may as well use the features that are included in your package price. So what you can do is you can come onto the screen and enter in your mileage, or you can actually download the Xero Me app, I think it's called. Let me check it out. Xero Me is the name of the app if you go to your app store. And that Xero Me app that you can get on your phone is this Xero expenses. And what's good about that is because often when it comes to missing out on claiming those little costs throughout the year, it's because of the, I don't know, like the clunkiness, the barrier to entry, like the barrier to you sitting down and remembering to put it in when you're at your computer. But if next time you do a trip to a client's offices, or you do like a work-related mileage, you can just, if it's on your phone, you can quickly enter the mileage. Now, I can't show you on my phone what that looks like, but let me show you on the screen what you would do. So you've come here to business expense claims, or you've gone to the Xero Me app, and you say new expense, and you say mileage claim. You then fill in all the details, and assuming that there's no one else who needs to approve it in your business, you hit the approve button. Okay, then what will happen is Xero will create a bill. So if I show you here is one that I created, 25 miles to a client meeting. So you can jump into that bill, and you can then choose, do you want to reimburse yourself, like actually physically pay that into your bank account? Alternatively, you can mark it as paid to your director's loan or your owner drawings if you're a sole trader. Okay, so that's my top tip, or my area that, it's my top tip, or the area that business owners ignore that often costs them a lot in unnecessary tax, when they could reduce their tax bill by putting these sorts of expenses through. Okay, so that's number two. The third area to check is, and it's a common one, is that business owners mix their personal and business transactions. When you mix your personal spending into your business spending, I see it all the time. It's so common that the accurate expenses are not being claimed. And more often than not, it's that expenses are being missed out. So my top tip around here is that if you do not have a separate business bank account, if you have a personal bank account where everything's going through, then go today and open up a separate business bank account and connect the live bank feed to Xero. Because if you can keep your business and personal finances separate, it's going to make your numbers more accurate. And if you have a separate business bank account, but you still find yourself, I don't know, buying stuff off Amazon for the business or signing up to subscriptions off your personal card, stop that. Make it a habit of keeping your business and personal separate. Any business expenses put through this business account, because again, I see it so often that people are unnecessarily missing out on expense claims that will reduce their corporation tax bill or their personal tax bill. Okay. Area number 4 that I see mistakes is that people assume that because Xero has a nice little VAT return feature here, this is a demo company, so it's not going to look the way it'll look for you. But typically, you'll see a list of your previously submitted VAT returns, and you'll see your most recent VAT return, and you can literally open it, and there's a bright blue button that says submit. Now, the mistake that people make is they think because it looks like it's just a click of a button, that is all there is to do when it comes to do a VAT return. But that couldn't be further from the truth. Okay, if we take the example that I had at the beginning of this video, where I talk about one of my new clients who, just by knowing a few checks that she could run, saved herself £660 in VAT, you can see why it's so important to get this right. Okay, so what you need to do is run through those checks. There's about 10 to 15 checks that you need to do. I do go through some of those checks that I recommend people do in one of my videos that I already have up here on YouTube, and I will make sure to link that in the description below, as well as putting it as the end screen video that's recommended to you to watch. Okay, so have a look at that. It's one of my more popular videos, and it will help you to pick up where you might be missing out and possibly overpaying on that. So that is a common area or mistake that people make in Xero. They just assume that they just hit that submit button and they're good to go. But no, there is a lot of checks that you should be doing to make sure that you're not missing out on any claims on VAT or double counting any income transactions, etc. Okay. Now, area number 5 that I see business owners making mistakes in is that they are not regularly reviewing their profit and loss. Okay, my recommendation is you should be reviewing your profit and loss report at least once a month. But worst case scenario, if you can't get to it monthly, you should at least be reviewing it at year end. So whenever your financial year end is, make sure you pop on and have a look at your profit and loss before you send any information over to your accountant. Okay, so how do you do that? You come here to your accounting menu and you can look under reports. Otherwise, typically Xero favorites your profit and loss report. So you should see it here under favorited reports, where here is the profit and loss. If it's not showing here, if you go to reports and you look under financial statement section here, you'll find the profit and loss, and if you hit the star icon, it will then appear in that quick access drop down menu here as one of your favorite reports that you can run in the future. So let's jump into it. Now, I don't have time in this video to go through all the details, but what you need to be doing is looking at this report, if you can, monthly. That's the golden standard. Look at it monthly. If that's just not feasible for you, at least quarterly. And like worst case scenario, do not send your information to your accountant at the end of the year to prepare accounts unless you've looked at this report yourself. And what you can do to make it more useful is you can look at it this month or this financial year, and then you can compare it to previous periods. That's going to give you some really useful insight to identify where is there something weird happening that you need to investigate further. Okay, so those are the 5 areas that I see business owners making mistakes in by not doing these things that I've taken you through. Now, for a bit of fun, I thought it might be good to include one bonus area that is really important to check and is going to be a quick win for you. And that is all around your bank accounts and your bank feeds. So let me show you that. If you go to the dashboard, and you might have more than one bank account, and if you do, you need to do this for each of your bank accounts. Let's jump into this one, this business bank account for the demo company. And what you need to be doing at least once a quarter, again, diarize this. And if you're thinking, oh, Ray, there's so many things you're telling me to do. You're telling me I need to do stuff weekly, monthly, quarterly. If you want my full list of everything that you need to do throughout your year to be on top of your numbers, and it doesn't need to take a lot of time. These are quick checks, okay? If you want the full list, then that is the kind of information that I include inside my Xero Hero program. It's plug and play, checklists, to-do lists, calendars, videos taking through detailed training on all the different areas in Xero. That's in the program. And you can, to find out about the program, you can sign up to one of my free live training sessions by going to rayarmand.com. Okay, I will also put that link in the description. Okay, so if you are wanting that done for you list, you can join one of my free live training sessions where I will tell you more about the program. Otherwise, you can continue to watch my free content. So let me show you what you need to do in your bank account at least once a quarter. You need to come here to this bank statements tab, and you need to scroll down to the last or the most recent date. And I always say, don't go with the 10th of all, like your today's date or yesterday, in case the transactions haven't all been pulled through. Go to one day before that. So we're looking at 9th of August as an example, and look at the last transaction on that date, which is this one here, and look at the balance. Now go to your online banking, log in and do the same. Download a statement or look at your transactions on the 9th of August, go to the last transaction on the 9th of August and compare the balance. And the reason why I say go to the last transaction is because the order that transactions appear in your bank when you log into your online banking might be a slightly different order to how they appear in Xero. So generally, if you go to the last transactions on both days, you're going to get a balance that should agree. So as at the 9th of August, this balance, or whatever date you're working to, this balance in Xero should agree exactly down to the pence to what is in your bank account. If it doesn't, there's a sign that's a sign that there's an issue. Now, you might think to yourself, oh, it's only a pound difference. No, you can't think like that, because a pound difference could be two huge transactions that are just netting each other off, okay? So you need this to agree right down to the pence. And if you want to know then how to fix it, I may have a video that I can link below. Otherwise, look out for it, because it will be something that I cover in the future. Okay, so those are my hot tip, or my areas that I say go and have a look now, because there are some really good quick wins in my recommendations in this video. Thank you for listening, and if you want to watch more videos like this, please do subscribe to our channel so that you get notified when I release videos in future. Cheers.